Hello everyone, so this time around we're going to be working on the number 3 clamp block in the CAD activity booklet. So I'm just coming over here to my Onshape program. I'm going to click on create and document, and I'm going to name it as always number 3 clamp block, all caps, and then full stop, first name dot last name, and then I'm going to left click on create, and we're going to start making our clamp block. So the first thing we want to do is figure out what the easiest base shape is to then extrude, and then we can figure out where to go from there. So I think the easiest thing to do would be to make a 80 by 65 millimeter rectangle on the bottom shape, because these two dimensions combined, if you can see the workbook, it's a 80 by 65 millimeter all together, and then we take a 35 millimeter by the full width being 80 millimeter rectangle extruded down, like a chunk out of it. Okay, and we'll see that as that progressive if it is harder to see in the bottom right hand corner. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go to our top plane. I'm going to select sketch. I'm going to select the center point rectangle, and then we're going to click on the origin point, drag it out. Remember, we can go to a top view just to get the correct view. You can zoom right in. And we're going to left click, release, and the white boxes come up, so we can now type in 80 as our larger dimension. And now we can type in, actually, just to make sure that we can see it. Yeah, so we want to see 80 at the front and then 65 on the side. So you can just make sure that those two dimensions are in the correct positions when you're inputting it, and just go from an angle to make it easier for you to see which one's where. So now that we've made our overall dimensions of our bottom rectangle, we can tick our sketch, and now I'm going to extrude my shape. Left click on the shape, or you can left click on the sketch and extrude, and I can choose how high it goes. And in our CAD activity booklet, the overall height of our shape is 120 millimeters. So I'm going to go 120 in our depth text box over here, and I'm going to leave everything as default and tick our extrusion. So as you can see, everything is over here, and I'm going to change our view so that we're on that front and right and top angle. So now we actually want to make another shape that is on the top of our rectangular prism or rectangular block, and we're going to actually make a shape all the way across the top, and then down to the front, and then across the front, and then back to that point. So it'll be a rectangle at the front of our top rectangle. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to extrude that down. So the first thing I want to do is select the top face of our object, right? So see how that whole top face has gone yellow. If the number on your mouse, right, your little cursor, is greater than 1, it means you've selected multiple things. So I might have accidentally selected the lines here. Right, so that's now greater. That's actually 5, so it's greater than 1. So what we want to do to mitigate that issue is we want to click out of anything, so just in blank space, and make sure you select, so left click, inside the shape as opposed to on the outside. Okay, so left click so that everything's highlighted and it's just one thing that you're selecting. Alright, and then we're going to create a sketch on this plane. Now you see how sketch number 2 is at the same height as the top. Now if we go from the front, you can see it's at the same height as the top, and you can tell that it's in a horizontal or a kind of flat surface. Then we're going to not select the center point rectangle. We're going to select the corner rectangle, or G on the hotkey. And then we're going to go to the corner of our shape, because this is the easiest reference point. And I'm going to left click and drag all the way across our shape. And halfway across is 32.5. I don't want to be on the center point, just as a thing that I don't want to be on. So I'm going to come away from the center point. You know it's the center point because it's a black dot with two lines on the outside of it pops up. So if you see anything like that particular icon come up, where it's just a point on a line as opposed to the center point, then that's a lot better. Okay, because if we do select the center point and we change our 32.5mm dimension to our 34mm dimensions, which is what we need, then it'll actually change the bottom shape, and it won't be able to reconcile it. So let's just do it just to see what happens. So enter on 80 because that's right, and then as you can see, the sketch can't be solved. Now let me go 34, enter. And for double reasons it can't be solved. Okay. So let's go Control Z on that one, and then redo it. Now it might say still it can't be resolved, but we'll have a look. Okay. So I'm just going to go past it, and I'm going to go 80, enter, and then 34, enter. I'm not totally sure why it pops up as red, but I'm just going to go with it and click OK on the sketch. And then I'm going to select the top face and just that side of it that I just drew a rectangle for. So this side here, that's my 34mm line, and then 31mm will make up the rest because it's 65 overall. Now let's just come to the front, and then I'm going to extrude that shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on remove, okay, and that will take it down, or it will take it up depending on which way you drag it. But if you click remove, that means it will start removing material. But if you stay on add, it won't be able to reconcile that, and it will think it's adding more material onto our object. So you can do it upwards, but you can't do it downwards because there's already stuff there. So if I go remove, and then I select a depth of 22mm as specified by my CAD activity booklet over here, 22mm down, and then tick that sketch, we now have the number 3 clamp block. Okay. Now I'm going to quickly show you one more thing just while I'm here. Hopefully it works, or it might be in a different situation where it pops up. You can usually tell what dimensions things are, but dimension, but it may not work. That's alright. Basically you can do it in assembly though, so that's a later thing. So that's all reconciled now, and we can share that with our team. You select it with whatever team comes up. You can even share it with me, give me editing privileges, but give your team viewing privileges only, and then you can share from there. And then click close, back to Onshape, and owned by me should pop up, number 3 clamp block at 827. As you can see, it's 827. And then if I go into any of your, well, any of my teams, because I shared to all of them, but you'll go into whatever team you have, and then as you can see, number 3 clamp block, first name to last name is there. Alright, that's it for that one. See you next time.